Here we are, gentlemen. We are finally at the end of this lifestyle journey. And today I'm going to share some of the common pitfalls that a lot of men fall into on this journey. Have you ever found yourself worrying about finally gaining control of your behavior with porn and masturbation, only to relapse within a year or within a few weeks? Or have you given yourself the excuse that, you know what, there's no point in trying to recover or reboot because I'm probably going to relapse anyway? Well, over the past couple of years, I've had a handful of clients, to be absolutely honest with you, who did relapse within their first year. And this was after gaining control of their urges and their obsessive sexual thoughts, and even after they overcame their fear of relapse. So, yes, I have clients who relapse. I am the best at what I do, but I'm no magician. The truth is that you are the best expert on yourself. My job is to guide you towards self-mastery. Now, some clients get on calls with me and they ask something which you might be wondering at this point in this course. JK, what is the guarantee that I'll never engage in this behavior again, that I'll never compulsively masturbate, that I'll never view pornography again? My response is always the same. I was like, the only guarantee is that you stick to the system and you don't do any of the 5 things that I'm going to share with you. This is what we're going to close out with. The 5 reasons why men relapse in the first year of rebooting or recovery. The first is a desire to put it behind you. And this is when you don't want to spend the time, the 2 years or even the months building new habits or changing your lifestyle and rewiring your brain. All you want is to simply get it over with and have a normal life. Never mind the fact that your addiction or your compulsive habit lasted for years. No, you want to end it as quickly as possible. And it's understandable. I get it, right? Like porn and your out of control sexual behavior is a negative part of your life. And honestly, any sane man who sees a way out of an addiction will give it a shot. But the problem is hope. So after many months or years, you've regained hope that you'll live a fulfilling and peaceful life. And that hope can sometimes cause you to rush ahead in the process. But this is a process that cannot be rushed. What often happens is that most men who feel this way get to a point where they're no longer watching porn or masturbating, and then they drop their accountability partners, they stop watching the courses, they stop speaking to their therapist or coach. They wonder, like, what's the point, right? The program has done what it promised, right? I rarely have urges to masturbate, and when I do, I can control them, and I have 0 urges to even watch pornography. But you forget that recovery or rebooting is not a straight line. It takes 1.5 to 2 years for your brain to fully rewire from this out of control behavior. So letting go of things like accountability, letting go of the tools, letting go of your coaches, when you do that before this time period is up, that leads to a relapse. The second reason why men relapse within the first year is you stop focusing on self-care. Now, many men who experience 90 to maybe even 120 days free of pornography and masturbation are thrilled with their newfound mental freedom. So I've noticed that they proceed to take action in the different areas of life where porn has robbed them of different things. We spoke about Reboot Capital. So they start dating again. They start having sex more often with their wives. There's more intimacy. They start taking action on those business ideas which had laid stagnant for a while. But then the excuses begin. You know, I've got to get some work done on my new business before I go to my regular jobs. I'm just going to skip my morning recovery routine this morning. Or I had a very stressful day and, you know, I choose to deal with it by binge watching Netflix and eating junk food. You know, this is my way of rewarding myself. Well, at least I didn't watch porn. Less sleep, more entertainment, less healthy eating, less taking care of your mind. And then making up for lost time often becomes the cause of your next relapse. The third reason why men relapse during their first year is that you feel like you are not learning anything new. The truth is, once you've implemented, and the key word there is implemented, the basics of rebooting or recovery, it's more or less smooth sailing for a few months until you reach the next stage of your reboot or your recovery. Unfortunately, some men begin to lose interest and they feel that recovery and rebooting is a drag. They begin to feel that it's some sort of obligation. So you begin to show up less and less to see your coach or your therapist. You begin to watch the course less and use the worksheets less. When you show up less, your awareness of your addiction drops. And when it drops, you slowly lose that ability to recognize your addict voice. That voice which tells you, you know what? Just watching one more time won't hurt. Remember, as you go through this program, if you feel a little bit bored, one of the sayings that I tell my clients is, you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. There's nothing new to learn. You have everything that you need right here. All you need to do is remind yourself. The fourth reason why men end up relapsing in their first year is being embarrassed of your constant struggle. And this means that at a certain point, maybe a part of you feels that you should be beyond the basics. And you begin to feel shame when you experience strong urges and you find yourself still entertaining thoughts which you felt were dealt with months ago. So shame and pride prevent you from actually reaching out for help. So some of the thoughts you might have are like, you know what, I can't believe that as a grown man, even going through this course, I'm still experiencing these strong urges. Like it's been months. Everyone will probably think I'm weak or I'm still secretly watching pornography. Please be aware of this. It takes 1.5 to 2 years to control this behavior. And during that time, if you feel urges, it is absolutely normal. There's nothing wrong with you and there's no shame in asking for help. The fifth and final reason why men end up relapsing in their first year of recovery or rebooting is when you think that you have a very deep understanding of your behavior in a short period of time. So I often receive messages from men who are seeking some sort of tip, which usually begins with them listing out all the therapy that they've been through or the length of time that they've been on streaks of not acting out and all the books that they've read about addiction and neuroscience and so on. But curiously, they're still relapsing, and I can tell by the messages they send me that they're actually trying to minimize the actual extent of their relapse, which is fine. It's understandable why they do that. But a similar phenomenon occurs in men who gain a lot of internal and external knowledge during their first year of rebooting. Some men even get so excited that I've seen them run off and try to become coaches themselves, simply because they've been off pornography for about 6-7 months. But remember, from earlier on in this course that the reboot process occurs in stages. Your journey is not over till you can hit that 2-year mark. It's definitely easier once you get to 90 days with a system. You feel a lot more confident, but it's far from over. What got you to your first year is not the same thing that's going to get you to the second year. That's why many men have become a part of our group coaching program, even after staying off pornography for a full year. They can't afford to relapse as they go into their second year. Listen up, brothers. There's a whole bunch of knowledge out there. There's knowledge of your past, of root causes via different therapeutic modalities. There's knowledge about your addiction. And then there's rebooting, the oftentimes painful process of transforming your biochemistry, regulating your environment, building relationships via community, learning to rebuild intimacy, and developing powerful, effective coping skills for your pain and even your trauma. In conclusion, brother, to make the most of everything that you've learned on this journey, don't fall victim to any of these 5 pitfalls in your first year. Remain vigilant. Now, it's not my intention to make rebooting or recovery sound like some insurmountable journey, because it truly isn't. My aim is to shed light on a severely misunderstood behavior. You are in a battle with an enemy which is as cunning and as smart as you are, because it's a part of you. And this may well be the most memorable internal journey of your life. Don't fear it, don't deny it. As I tell my clients, during the weeks when your urges are strongest, when you wake up each morning, let your first thought be, come get me. Say that to your addict, a challenge to your weaknesses, your addict, your mediocrity. That little voice in your head telling you to hit the snooze button, to leave the gym early, to slack off, to skip a worksheet. Face it, use the tools, learn from your slips and relapses, increase your knowledge, and keep moving forward. I assure you, you will surely win this battle. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle, and I want to thank you again for taking the time to go through this course. It doesn't end right here. It's actually designed to be used as a piece of reference material. So for instance, as you progress through your different stages, as you move from stage 1 to stage 2, as you move from the late reboot to the maintenance stage, come back, watch the videos, revisit some of the worksheets that you've completed so that you always know where you are on the map of your recovery and reboot.